And we are back once again live from the Sage Paracon right here in King George, Virginia at the Belgrove Plantation. What an amazing weekend, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in throughout the weekend, seeing all these amazing speakers, guests, attendees, and this is no different right now. I am sitting here with an attendee, Joanna, who is a paranormal investigator. Joanna, welcome to the TPV Nation.
Thank you.
So, what is it about the paranormal that brought you here, or what is your just interest in the paranormal?
I would say what really piqued my interest when I first started getting into the whole paranormal field itself was, I've always been, like kind of a curious, kind of child growing up. It's like I always wanted to,
Right.
get out and
No,
explore like
we've been doing that all day.
I'm in comes with Virginia. You can't help it. I would say it really piqued my interest because I always wanted to just know like what was always out there. Like I wanted to explore like all the depths of like, the world, and like come to a conclusion of like, like getting to like the real general
Right.
answers, to the world and like why do these things happen
Right.
and like how can, the unexplainable, ever be solved. And I
Right.
think that's what really highlighted my interest to go
Right.
into this because I've always come from like a very strict Catholic family that
Mhm.
always came from, like a lot of, logical explanations, very level headed, always, no nonsense, kind of household.
Right.
And I think I was, kind of the one that just really wanted solid, straight answers
Right.
from everything that I was,
Right.
encountering.
So, if you can, tell us your very first paranormal experience.
I would say my very first solid paranormal experience was actually at Antietam Battlefield. I was with my mother.
Okay.
We were getting out and exploring, having like a nice little casual outing for the day,
Mhm.
and this was in broad daylight.
Mhm.
And we get to this little memorial for a drummer boy, and then all of a sudden we start hearing this drum music,
Right.
and it was like dun 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 dun,
Wow.
and then she shouting for my father like, are you playing drum music
Right.
in the car, because we had a little audio video and tour guide we were listening to going throughout that day.
Right.
And then she tells them to turn the car off because she was trying to like hear it.
Mhm.
And then as soon as another car approached, the music stopped, and she got really rattled and spooked by that. And we jumped back in the car and we just continued off, and she just quickly dismissed it. And I was like, what was that?
Right. So that is fascinating. So you are obviously right here from the Virginia state. Very beautiful. It's my first time in Virginia. Got a little bit of an opportunity on Thursday when I got in to go around and explore a little bit. So I mean, we visited the boy home of George Washington, which is just not too far away from here. So a lot of, I mean, I didn't even realize this how close we are to Washington D.C. from this area. So I mean, growing up, I'm from Canada. I'm from the other side of the border, right across from Detroit, Michigan. So yeah, it's so. I mean, I've always been fascinated by geography, but for some reason, I always thought Washington D.C. was like a much further away on the other side of the state. So no, very interesting. So what is it that you do as far as pursuing your passion in the paranormal? Um, where do you see yourself going with this?
I mean, I currently see myself as, being a writer, for this 100% for sure. I finally have decided to get more involved with the paranormal in the last year. And I feel like, I had like a hidden, passion for it. And I kind of like swept it on the rug and kind of threw it in the closet and locked it away while I was in college.
Yep.
And then I kind of just opened that door back up again to this. And I mean, it's just like, picking up right where I left off.
Right.
So I do plan on, maybe someday joining a group or starting my own group.
Okay.
And my goal is to like overall help those that are in need, with their paranormal encounters and try and, help them, the best I can. But I do love sharing the experiences, because I mean, I'm an adventurous person. And for me, like, this just really completes my whole love of adventure.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. You know, and me as a paranormal investigator, I've been investigating for over 15 years. And my passion came, I've always been fascinated by ghosts and things that go bump in the night. But at the same time, I never became an active investigator until my the co-host of this show, who is not here with me this weekend, Mr. Michael John. Yeah, he called me up one day and says, "You'll never guess what I'm doing." And this is a guy who is an ex-professional wrestler, does all kinds of really amazing things. I'm like, I don't know, what are you doing? And he goes, I'm a paranormal investigator. I'm like, okay, what is a paranormal investigator? I've never heard that term before. Now, if he would have said I go hunt ghosts, I would have said, oh, that's cool because of what happened to me as a child. So yes, and I mean helping people out there in this world, but I think more importantly, not so much as an investigator, but actually giving people the comfortable enough to open up to you to tell their story, because a lot of people growing up, depending on their background and their religion and stuff like that, they can't go to mom and dad and say, "Oh, mom and dad, a ghost popped out of my closet, and now we have a haunted house," because oh, you're just imagining things. You ate something, or Scooby Doo scared you. I don't know what it was. So yeah, I mean, it's much more than just going in and into abandoned places or places like the Belgrove here, where it is actively haunted, and to help people find the answers. So it's a really good thing that what you're doing, and I really look forward to seeing what's going to come next in your future, because we always need more and more people to play in this great big sandbox we call the paranormal sandbox. So welcome to the Sage Paracon. I hope you had a great weekend here. I hope you learned a lot. What was your favorite part so far?
I would say, like not only just getting to meet John Zaffis, for the first time ever, because I mean, since he is the godfather of the paranormal,
Absolutely.
and definitely someone that I've learned from a lot too, from hearing about his experiences and like what to do. And I would say I really enjoyed listening to his name was Chris, right? Or
Curtis?
yeah, Curtis, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, Curtis as well, because since a lot of that played on stuff that I learned in school too. So it was nice seeing both the paranormal and the psychology slash criminology worlds like combined together.
Right.
Because I mean that's what I overall want to hear from two different perspectives this time, so I can get a better handle on like what I'm gonna be encountering in the future. Like,
Right.
is it paranormal or is it just psychological?
Right. And that is a very important thing for people that are coming into this field, or even people that have been in the field. I mean, not everything that goes bump in the night is a ghost. I mean, like houses like this that are hundreds of years old, I mean, they have creaks, they got things. So these are the types of things that you, as an investigator, and as anybody as an investigator, we have to go in there with the knowledge that not everything is paranormal or haunted, and to be able to have a wide spectrum and to come to these types of events. Like I said, I've been doing it for a very long time, but I love coming here. I love listening to the speakers, like the John Zaffises, the Jeff Belangers, even MJ herself. I mean, an amazing person, and you learn so much knowledge, and you can never stop learning in this field, because somebody out there can always show you something different or do something different that will make you, oh, that makes sense now. I found out like recently this year that EVPs, we love our EVPs. We like going in to get EVPs. But good friends of mine, Deb and RJ DeRoos, they host an event. It's called the UFO Contact Convention in Michigan. And now RJ, we were talking, and he goes, "Are you sure every EVP you got is a ghost?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, and we started getting into the alien side of the paranormal. And I'm like, "Oh, thanks, RJ. Now I have to go back through decades and years of investigations to see." And he goes, "You just never know who's communicating with you when you are doing these things." So, where do you believe, as a paranormal investigator, the cryptids and the UFOs fit into this whole picture?
I would say like that is a very interesting topic too, but it's very, complex. I mean, but who's to say like we're not the only, beings out here in this world? Because I mean, you got to think like if us human beings do exist here on this earth, who's to say like, there can't be life on, other planets,
Right.
or who's to say like even the most strange and unique creature on this world can exist? Because I mean, just think we got, some very unique animals too that live on this world that
Right.
can, even do like some of the most incredible, things that you wouldn't think wouldn't be able to happen, like camouflage, like listening to
Right.
certain sounds,
Right.
and they're very sensitive. Like even dogs, for example, like they can even detect on spirits, and
Uh,
even other animals.
oh yeah, no, I believe animals are very sensitive to the paranormal, and I think a lot of that is like I look at a young child. Young child's brains are not told are not in a position to told what they do can and cannot believe when they're so young. Animals, yeah, they don't know the difference what to believe and what not to believe, but they do sense when things are in the area. Uh, good friend of mine had a dog, and he said it would be the funniest. Dogs would be playing and everything, and all of a sudden they stop and just stare at the corner of their house. And he goes, and they would do that, but their heads would follow this thing and just do stuff. But he couldn't see it, and he was, what would that be? And it's like, well, obviously there could have been energy or a visitor, and the dogs were picking up on it, but you couldn't as a person. So no, animals are very sensitive to the paranormal world. So that's, I mean, yeah, it's like the whole umbrella of the paranormal world from A to Z. We love it all. We want to learn it all, and I'm very grateful that I got to meet you this weekend and to be able to talk about the passion is the paranormal. So I look forward to your adventures, and hey, keep us updated, and we'll see what's going to happen. And if you ever want to cross the border and see what it's like to some haunted places in Canada, just shoot us give us a show. We'll be more than happy to show you around.
That'd be incredible, and I would love to do that.
Well, Joanne, I thank you so much for taking your time out to stop to us to talk to you here at the TPV Nation. And folks, stay tuned, and you might just find out what this girl's going to do next. So, in the meantime and in between time, folks, we like to say happy huntings.